What's up? I'm Tyler. I'm a fourth year medical student, and I'm studying for step two right now. And to be honest with you guys, the process for studying for step two has not been going as well as I thought it would go, or as well as I wanted it to. So today is July 3, 2024, and I'll be taking the exam on July 19 or 20. So there's only 16, 17 days left in my prep here. And because I've been doing so poorly, I figured that maybe something I could add to my prep is these daily video recordings of kind of where I'm at, what I've done so far, how I've been performing, and what I plan on doing, and kind of how I feel about things. And I think starting this video series will be beneficial for a number of reasons. Number one, I think it'll be beneficial for me because hopefully, if people start watching these videos, maybe they can start giving me advice on um, how I can improve, how I can do things better. And then um, if people in the future watch these videos, other people studying for step two, maybe they can look at my prep and they can learn from my mistakes, or or if I start doing better, God willing, they can learn from that as well. And then, yeah. So I'll start by telling you guys about kind of like where I'm at in medical school and what I've done so far before starting my dedicated period for step two. And then after that, I'll show you guys all of my practice scores. I'll tell you guys everything I've done so far for prep. And then I'll tell you guys what I'm going to do next. So I'm a fourth year medical student. Fourth year just started. Like this is the first week of fourth year. And I started clinical rotations last January. So January 2023. Uh, my school has a 1.5 year preclinical phase. And then the first semester of second year is the beginning of clinical rotations. So I started clinical rotations January 2023, and I had a whole year of clinical rotations with, I think my screen is a bit fuzzy here, but anyways, whole year of clinical rotations with emergency medicine, uh, neurology, psychiatry, IM, surgery, OB-GYN, peds, family medicine. So I did all of the clinical rotations. I did all of the shelf exams. And to be honest with you guys, I didn't do too well on any of those shelf exams. I was a very below average clinical student. I barely passed any of those shelf exams. I think I needed 60 to pass them. I got 60 on all of them. And in fact, for like barely above 60 for all of them. And for psychiatry, I actually failed. I got like a 59, 58%. So I retook psychiatry last year, and psychiatry was the only one which I did good on. I think I got like a at least a 70 something percent after my retake. So that's where I was at come the end of core year, the end of clinical rotations in December 2023. And then the way my school does it is after clinical rotations, we take step one, and after that, we take step two. So December 2023 through February, I had 10 weeks of step one prep. Uh, why did it take 10 weeks? I don't know. I mean, honestly, some people, it takes like 4 weeks, 6 weeks. For me, I felt like my school had a really crappy preclinical um, curriculum. You know, all of the exams, all the material was in-house, and I just felt very poorly prepared for step one. So it took me 10 weeks to take step one. That's besides the point. Maybe in the future I can make videos about what that was like. It sucked. That's the short end of it. Um, so I took step one first week of February, and then I had 4 weeks of clinical rotations. I had 2 weeks of some like nephrology consult service, 2 weeks of urology, and then I started my step two prep in March. And the way I studied for step two is this. First of all, I guess I kind of studied for step two last year because I did 75% of UWorld last year during my clinical rotations. And my average on UWorld was like 47% after clinical rotations. And then I restarted UWorld in the beginning of my prep in March of this year. Um, so I can do it again. Um, and the way I've been studying is I've been doing multiple UWorld blocks per day. And then for every question I get wrong, I've been doing Anki cards. And then I've also been taking, and I'm going to show you guys my scores for all of this in just a minute, but I've also been taking the official MBME practice exams. So I actually took all of those official MBME practice exams in in March and April this year. And what I did for those is the same for UWorld. I reviewed every single question and I made Anki cards for every question I got wrong so I could remember them. And so how my days have been looking for this prep is I wake up around noon, maybe 1 p.m. I do 2 blocks of UWorld uh on timed mode, timed untutored, and then I review those questions. Um, and it takes me like 4 hours to do that. And so by the time I'm done doing those two UWorld blocks and reviewing all the questions, it's almost midnight. If you also factor in kind of like going back and forth from campus and eating dinner, things like that. And then once midnight hits, that. I stop reviewing the world and I start doing Anki cards. And then at this point, I have so many Anki cards, it takes like 4 hours to do Anki. Uh, and then I sleep at like 4 a.m. So that's kind of what my prep looks like right now. So let's kind of go back and show you all of my scores and kind of where how things have been going. All right, so this Excel document, uh, it was a way for me to record all of the practice exams I've taken and track my progress. So as you can see, my first exam was March 23, 2024. I got a 176. So a 176, for those that don't know, is like absolute garbage score. The minimum for passing step 2 is 214. 176 is the raw score for 176 is a 46.5%. So you can see like all the questions I did here, and all the questions in red are the ones I got wrong. On MBME 11, I got pretty much most of the questions wrong. So this kind of sucked, right? Because I did a whole year of clinical rotations at this point. I thought I would at least get, a 60% or something, like at least a 200 or something. 176 is where I started at. And yeah, so what I did is I reviewed all of the questions for MBME 11, and you see that here. The ones in red on the left side are questions I got wrong. And then the color coding here, you can ignore that. Color coding here means questions I got wrong when I reviewed it a second time. But anyway, and then for every question I got wrong, I made Anki cards. And then in addition, I spent the rest of that week doing UWorld blocks. And I specifically focused on cardiovascular UWorld blocks and pediatrics because those were the two systems and disciplines which it seemed like I had the most difficulty with. And I made Anki cards from all the incorrects I got from that as well. And then after a week of doing that, on March 30, I got a 193. And then I did the exact same thing. I did UWorld based on my weakest systems and disciplines, and I reviewed the exam. And then you can see kind of my score very slowly started to improve. But the thing is, my school gave me 6 weeks off to take step two. So I was planning on taking step 2 in May of this year. But when I got a 209 on April 25, I knew that just wasn't realistic. There was a high chance of me straight up failing, not getting that 214. So I decided to delay it. But the problem was I couldn't get any more time off. So I did 8 weeks of clinical rotations. I did a sub-I in IM and sub-I in the ICU. During those 8 weeks, I kept up my Anki cards and I did one, maybe 2 blocks of UWorld per day, usually just one. Especially on my sub-I, my first IM sub-I, I did maybe like 20 questions a day because I was so busy. And so I did that. And now is the first week of July, and I have 3 weeks. I have the first week of July off and then 2 more weeks off. I take the exam on July 19th. So what I'm planning on doing is, if I can insert a line here, um, is I plan on taking UWSA2, the UWorld practice exam on this Saturday, so July 6th. And then on July 13th, I'll take free 120. Um, and then July 19 or 20, I'll take the official exam. So so since starting my dedicated period, my second dedicated period, um, on Saturday, I've been doing UWorld, and I'll take the official the UWorld practice exam on uh on Saturday. So I'll show you guys how I've been doing on UWorld. These are my UWorld scores, and as you can see, it doesn't look too good. So what I've been doing is I've been doing um, random mixed blocks, um, and I did 2 blocks today, which I need to review. And so on my first block today, I got 65%. On the second block, I got 47%. And if these are my UWorld scores on my second pass through, and I only have a couple weeks left, this is kind of concerning. Um, and so that's where I'm at. And the reason I'm doing random blocks is because I think my weaknesses are pretty much everywhere. So you see on my first practice exam today, my weakest subject was medicine, and my weakest questions were ID and the reproductive system and pregnancy. But then you can see on my second block today, my weakest system was pediatrics and OB-GYN. Oh, actually 0% on surgery. So that's why I've been doing random blocks, because I feel like my weaknesses are all over the place. So I might as well test everything within these last few days of prep. Um, and then this is what I got left. So I'm not doing psych questions, because with psych, I'm actually doing pretty well. I get like 80% of those questions right. But what I've been doing is I've just been doing, these four and then all the systems together. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at with UWorld. And so here's an editable calendar, and I'll tell you guys what my plan is for the next few days, which is tonight, review UWorld and Anki. Okay. And then tomorrow I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna review UWorld today until 12 a.m. Hopefully I'll be done by 12. And then I'll do Anki. And then tomorrow, same thing. UWorld and Anki. Friday, UWorld and Anki. Saturday, I'll take my UWorld SA2 practice exam. Review that on the rest of the day on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I feel like it's going to take 3 days to review. And then on Tuesday, because then I haven't taken my um like the official MBME exams. I took all of them already, but that was in March and April. So what I'll do before taking the free 120 on July 13 is I'll review all of those. So I'll review MBME 10 on Tuesday, MBME 11 on Wednesday, MBME 12 on Thursday, and MBME 13 on Friday. And also MBME 14 I'll fit in here as well. And then I'll do UWorld with my free time. And I'll take the free 120 on July 13. And then after that, I'm not sure what I'll do. I might do UWorld based on my weaknesses on the free 120. I might do MBME 9 because that's the one exam I haven't taken yet, even though I've heard that it's not like the best predictor. and then I'll take the exam on July 19 or 20. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Um, and to be honest with you guys, at this point, I was hoping to get at least 230, 240 on exam. If I can get 214, if I can pass, I'm applying internal medicine, so I'll pass, I'll get into some community program, and then, we'll go from there. So yeah. So anyways, that's my first video. I just wanted to talk about where I'm at right now. And in future videos, I'll be doing UWorld blocks recorded on tutor mode with you guys, so I can kind of talk through my thinking and logic behind every question, and maybe we can see if I can work on that. And I'll do that for a few days, and then, but eventually I'll want to go back to timed blocks to mimic the actual exam as well. So, anyways, if you watch this video, thanks for doing that, and hopefully this helps you. So thank you.